right, welcome back to Top 5 Vinyl, where we show love to vinyl owners. Today I'm here with Toya. How's it going, Toya?
Hey, it's good to meet you. Good to see you. Thank you so
Meet
much for
you.
having me on to talk
Absolutely,
about my
absolutely,
favorite stuff.
absolutely, Toya. Let me say this because I know you got some stuff going on. Can you tell the people, number one, where they can find you on Instagram?
Yes, I am on the internet at What's Good Toya.
Hmm.
Just What's Good Toya. My name Toya. You can find me on Instagram, on Threads, and actually my website, which I'm going to be doing some fun stuff on soon at
Hmm.
what'sgoodtoya.com. But as of
Nice.
now, Instagram's really what I got popping. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, cool. And I also understand Philly Soul Now. Can you explain that to the people?
Yes, phillysoulnow.com. I am the editor in chief of phillysoulnow.com. And basically, it's just talking about what is happening in Philly's soul music scene now. A lot of people affiliated with, Jill Scott and the Roots and, with the whole neo soul movement. And even before then, Gamble and Huff and what really signifies Philly soul. And so, what we do is we want people to know what's happening now, with the artists that are creating now. There's Spotify playlists of all Philly soul artists. We have a YouTube channel, we have interviews, and we also have a calendar of shows that are happening, not just with local artists, but also like national artists that are
Mm.
coming through. So it's
Okay.
very informative, very informative. So I encourage people to go check it out, sign up so you know about all the great shows that are happening in the area.
Absolutely. And I will put the description and the links in the bottom of this page so you guys can click on it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before we officially get started, I want everybody to like the channel, subscribe, tell all your cool and uncool friends, all that fun stuff you guys got to do in YouTube land. Toya, with that being said, did you grow up with a record player in the house?
Yes, I grew up with my record player, my daddy's record player,
Mm.
Fisher Price record player.
Okay.
I grew up with all that. I did a whole stereo component system,
Mm.
very
Mm.
careful with it,
Right.
very much respected in the house.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I definitely grew up with a record player.
Okay. So the big boy record player was your dad's. What kind of music was he listening to on the record player?
Man, my dad was listening to Temptations, Four Tops, a lot of George Benson,
Mm.
a lot of George Benson. Peabo Bryson was his
Mm.
favorite singer.
Mm.
Um, and then and then he had his comedy albums that I wasn't allowed in the room when
Right,
they were
right. The
playing.
adult records.
Yeah, so he had Red Fox,
Mm.
Richard Pryor,
Hmm.
those records. So yeah,
Mm.
my dad had an extensive record collection.
That's awesome. Okay. And were you allowed to touch the record player or?
Yeah, my dad was really cool about that. My mom also collected a lot of records too.
Okay.
So my mom was more into gospel. Now
Mm.
she did have her share of R&B, and I actually my dad passed away 6 years ago. So
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
not sure which records are theirs,
Mm.
which ones were just his and which ones were, hers. But I do know hers, majority of hers were gospel.
Okay.
So I would hear those too. And of course, like a lot of black kids growing up, when you hear that Clark sisters go on, you about
Mm.
to clean something.
Mm.
So
Right, right, right.
so yeah, but my dad knew that I very much respected those records, knew how to play records. And I always say I was the easiest kid to babysit
Mm.
because I would just be in that room, in our
Mm.
front room with those records, sitting there reading over liner notes, so I was definitely allowed to play them.
That's awesome. Okay. With your own money, do you remember the first vinyl record that you ever bought?
I do. It was the soundtrack to Flashdance.
Hmm. Okay.
Is I remember I took my allowance and I went to the counter at Sam Goody,
Mm. Mm.
and I had to have Maniac. I
Mm.
had to have that song by Michael Cimbello. And I love What a Feeling. I love Fame. I love the show Fame.
Mm.
So it kind of reminded me of that. And Irene Cara was also in Fame
Yep.
saying, theme song. But I didn't know anything about that movie. I was still too young to watch the movie,
Mhm.
but I knew like I loved the music video. I love Maniac. And so that was the first record I bought.
That's awesome. Okay. In your record collecting heyday, did you have a favorite record store?
I'd say Sam Goody.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All time favorite?
all time. That was because it was at the mall. It was a
Mm.
time you went to the mall.
Hmm.
You went to Gadzooks. You went to Orange Julius.
Mm. Mm.
Like all those old stores, and you
Right.
Sam Goody and you were able to listen to records or CDs, little listening stations and everything. So
Hmm.
that was my spot. That was the first place I went whenever I went to the mall. Like I
Mm.
had to go to Sam Goody.
Okay. And walking out of a Sam Goody or any other place, can you think of the most amount of vinyl that you walked out with at one time?
Oh man. I didn't I didn't buy a lot of vinyl.
Hmm.
I kind of waited for Christmas or like maybe I would get something or I would get maybe one or two things. Cause I remember, and especially even when CDs came out, I feel like I would get like two CDs and like a couple singles,
Mm. Hmm.
because I like to sit with stuff for a while. So if I
Right.
did get it, it was something I was really, really excited about.
Okay.
I didn't start coming away with a big stack of records until I started DJing for a short amount of
Mm.
time.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't know I used to DJ.
Mm.
So I really talk about a lot. I mean, it's just I've been on earth for like half a century, so I've lived a lot of life. So sometimes I just forget that I used
Mm.
to DJ.
Mm.
But I still have a ton of singles. And so I think the most when I started DJing and I would come home from Nashville to Philadelphia, I knew places to go to come away
Mm.
with like a stack of singles to take back
Mm.
with.
Mm.
How much I spent, I don't know, but
Huh, right.
I know that that's the when I would buy a stack of like vinyl, it would be singles.
Mm. Now, of like those, like being a DJ, do you still have your entire collection, or how did that work out? Like currently, do you still have that stuff?
I still have a number. I still have a good number of vinyl. I
Okay.
do. I don't right now when I go shopping for records, I don't get singles. So
Mm.
I really try to discipline myself.
Right.
Just be like, just buy albums,
Hmm.
buy them in person, don't get them online. Like I
Right.
really try to be disciplined about it. It depends on maybe the history
Mm.
of the vinyl, like
Mm.
the single, if it's something like, okay, I just picked up the last single I can remember being like, I gotta have it was Jane Child's Don't Want to Fall in Love.
Mm. Mm.
And that's because there's a Teddy Riley remix on that is amazing. And so we don't have like maxi singles
Mm.
anymore, and
Right.
I don't know if it's even available on streaming, but like that is a bad jam. So that's
Mm.
something that I said, that's a single I'll
That
buy.
you
So
need to have.
something unique like that is something
Right.
that
Okay. Okay. Can you think of if you ever had to, have you ever bought the same album twice?
Have I bought the same album twice? I feel like I've almost bought the same album. Um,
I guess whether personal or DJ reasons.
hmm. For DJ reasons?
Hmm. Either or.
Yes, I have two copies of a Tidra Moses single called Still in Love, which has a sample of Guess Who's Back.
Mm.
And it's not available for streaming. It's not on her album. It was just released on vinyl for DJs.
Hmm.
I loved it. And I was like, I am getting two of those.
Ha, that's crazy. Okay.
So that I definitely have two of those on purpose. But
Okay.
like I didn't get that bone after anything I bought by on accident.
Mm.
Almost, but that's why I started putting myself on Discogs.
Oh, okay. That makes
Because
sense.
there have been times where I've looked through my collection and be like I just didn't know.
Mm.
Guy, I almost bought Guy twice. I
Mm.
remember. And
Okay.
came home and saw that I had it. And I was like, you need to start cataloging. You better.
That's funny. And that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Okay. Let me ask you this question. Of the five you're going to show us, have you seen any of the five perform live?
Oh, let me look. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Two
Okay.
out of the five.
Okay. When we get there, you'll have to remind me.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Toya,
Mm-hmm.
being that this is top five vinyl, can you share number five? What is the fifth vinyl record that you have in front of you?
Okay. Do I have to say these are not top five out of my entire collection? Because this is tough, man.
Absolutely.
Tough.
This is tough.
This is just five.
Right. Got it.
Five out of 200 albums and almost 200 singles. So
Mm.
12
Okay.
inches. All
Okay.
right. So number five, the Angelo and the Vanguard, Black Messiah.
Mm. Mm.
I highly recommend this record if just to hear Another Life on
Mm,
vinyl because it just sounds beautiful. It
mm,
just, I don't know what it is about this particular song on vinyl that just sounds so crisp. I don't know if it's the way they recorded. I mean, the whole album sounds good,
mm,
but there's just something about the recording on Another Life that is just gorgeous.
mm,
I love this record so much, and it's what they did with the packaging is partly why I love vinyl. I think collecting vinyl for me, you get a part of music history. It's art.
mm,
It, what they intended with it.
mm, mm,
You get stuff like this.
mm,
You get, lyric sheets sometimes. You get a picture of D'Angelo with Jesse Johnson, like,
mm.
just things that you don't get when you just buy things digitally. And so
Exactly.
that's really what I love about vinyl, just the whole package that you get. Now, I am somebody that collects vinyl and plays it,
Mm, mm.
no shade to people that don't, but
Right.
okay, maybe a little shade. Because
You funny.
just a little shade to play your records.
Right.
I don't know. There's just something beautiful about just really sitting with the record. And I think because that's how I grew up.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is number five.
Nice. Okay. All right, cool. So that's your number five. Let's go ahead and take a look at your number four.
Oh, I have seen D'Angelo live too, because you
Okay, he
asked me
he was one
last.
of your two. You saw where did you see D'Angelo perform?
I have seen D'Angelo at Afropunk. I saw him at the Apollo,
Mm,
and I saw him at the Keswick Theater in Philadelphia. So I've seen
mm.
him.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
incredible every time.
That's cool. Okay. So
All
that's one of
right.
your two that you've seen live. Let's take a look at your number four.
Number four, Southeast Inspirational Choir 10th Annual Praise and Rededication Concert.
Mm,
Okay. Now, this is my favorite gospel album of all time.
mm,
My mom used to play this a lot. She is a gospel singer, a
mm,
fantastic singer. She's one of those singers that, like, if you're in church and then like somebody gets up and go to the microphone and people automatically start clapping
mm-hmm.
because they know it's about to be on.
Right, right, right.
That's how good of a singer my mom is. And so
Mm,
one song that she used to sing is a song here called My Liberty, which the soloist was a very young Yolanda Adams.
wow.
Yeah, this record came out. I should have brought my glasses. Somehow this record came out. 1982 is
Mm,
when this came out.
okay.
And my mom played this a lot. One of the things that I love about this record is that musically, just the chords and the arrangements, like it's actually like funky. Like some of
Mm,
it is just really funky. And I just
mm,
remember around that time, musically, what the Hawkins, singers were doing, and Andre Crouch, there was just a level of musicianship
mm,
I thought was just really outstanding. And this is one of those records uh, that that's how I see it. It's just
mm,
not just the messaging and everything, but just musically, it's just
mm,
excellent.
mm.
So that's why this is in my top five.
Nice. Okay. All right. So that's your number four.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your number three.
Number three, my favorite singer of all time who I have seen in
Mm,
concert, Luther Vandross.
nice.
With the
Now,
night
where did you see Luther perform?
I saw Luther, Valley Forge, and Vanessa Williams opened up for him. And I saw him. My dad took me, and I think that might have been the infamous In Vogue In
Mm,
Vogue tour
mm,
when they opened up. I think
mm.
that was that. But I've seen
Wow.
him twice, and
Okay.
my favorite singer of all time,
Mm,
hands
mm,
down.
mm,
And the reason why I picked this record out of many Luther records that I really love, I wouldn't say this is my favorite Luther record, but I picked this because this is the record that made me love the bass.
mm,
Marcus Miller is my favorite bass player of all time. And it's really because of this album. It's really on songs like If Only for One Night. It was the first time that I heard the bass as like as not being in the background,
mm, mm.
just being an instrument that was a part of the storytelling
Right.
in
Mm-hmm.
the song, not just like a background instrument as I always saw the bass to be before I started listening to Luther Vandross's music. And
Mm,
so I heard the bass a lot more and enjoyed it a lot more.
mm.
So, and that's because of Marcus Miller.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So this is one of my favorite records.
Nice. Okay. So that's your number three.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your number two.
And you see how beat up this record is? Record
She,
is so up.
that just
Look at
means that
look
just
at
means it's been loved.
this is my previously loved
Mm,
Jackson's album Triumph
mm,
After Destiny. I don't buy a lot of reissues. I need this one reissue because look
mm.
how I mean it's bad. Um, I love this record so much. And one of the reasons why I love this record, not only is it a really just a really good record, but it has memories for me. And the reason why it has memories for me is that music was so important in my house growing up. And so I remember back in the day, you could actually buy records at the grocery store.
I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad, Friday night, coming home from work or whenever, would get orange juice, milk, eggs, bread, and a record, depending
That's
on
so crazy.
what record was coming out. And I remember waking up and just seeing this on my dresser.
Mm, mm,
It's just on the dresser, like the new Jackson album is out,
mm,
you know. And I just love that about my house. I
mm.
just love that music was that important, you know. And so, I mean, imagine just like waking up to this record, and the first song you hear is "Can You Feel It?"
Mm, mm.
Like just
Yeah,
that opening,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I really that's this. It just has a great memory for me, and just from top to bottom, it's just a great record. So
Mm.
that's my number two.
Nice. Okay. Toya for the grand finale. What do we have for number one?
This is what started it all for me.
Ah, yes. Yes, yes.
Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. And I actually, wait, I do have two copies of this, I realized,
Mm,
because
mm.
the other one looks just as bad as the Triumph album is tore up
Wow.
because I have, the original copy of it. Um, this is my number one.
Mm,
This is the album that made me love vinyl. This is
mm,
amazing.
mm,
Having this record, having this fold out, I was in love with Michael Jackson as a kid
yeah.
and dance with this record. So if this record came out in 79, I was five. So I was
Mm,
5 years old dancing with Michael Jackson to these
mm,
songs. Um, and I would pour over this
mm, mm,
every Saturday.
mm,
There were certain records that I would play. A couple were Earth, Wind, and Fire, George Benson, but I always came back to this. And so what helped me with finding records and searching for vinyl is that I would go, okay, well, Rod Temperton wrote some of my favorite songs. So if I see Rod Temperton on another album, I'm going to get
mm,
it because I know he's
mm,
a great songwriter. I would see musicians like Greg Fillinganes and like Paulina DaCosta and people like that, and Patty Austin, who sings on here. And
mm.
so when I would look for other music, because I was so familiar with the musicians, these excellent musicians that were on this album, it helped me to discover other music as well.
Right, right. Yeah. Physical media will allow you to do that.
Mhm.
That's
It helps you
awesome.
like connect the dots
Right,
of
right.
things, it's like you see somebody played on this record and wrote this song, and so it helps you connect the dots musically.
Hmm. Hmm. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, Toya, one more time, can you let the people know, number one, where they can find you on social media?
Mhm. I am at What's Good Toya, and that's What's Good Toya, not What's Good to You, but What's Good Toya at Instagram and Threads.
Nice. And um, Philly Soul Now, the website?
Yeah. Philly Soul Now website, and you can also find us on YouTube. There are a bunch of videos and interviews also from Philly Soul artists in the area, and Philly Soul also on Instagram and Threads as well.
Nice. Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, Toya, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you. This was fun. I always love talking about music. So this was hard,
Cool.
but it was fun. Thank you.
Right, right. Cool. All right, we'll talk soon.
All right.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.